All right, everybody, gather around the campfire of the Wencha. This is Fallout What If you're here still, and today we're gonna be doing part one. Part zero was already finished. This is now part one to What If Deku was a caveman. Far Cry Primal. Yeah, part one, and I don't know what to call this part, but let's say it's. What's called? I don't know what to call it yet. I don't know what the title chapter to call this one. But this is still part one, and you guys picked all three. More people picked people picked the whole three girls and one caveman, and yeah. So I'm gonna do it. And for you guys probably wanting to have like how do I say this? Freaking Deku X Momo, Deku X Telly, or I forgot that white hair girl that was super smart with who drinks tea, and Momo. So Melissa, Telly, or Terry, or I don't know what her name is, but I need to find out, and Momo. So you get three. So he gets three. He gets three chicks. And for those who didn't pick and are telling me, who are probably going to say in the comments, why didn't you choose this? Why didn't you choose that? Because I told you guys. I said this. You guys don't pick. You guys don't get. You guys picked. Now you guys get what you picked. And there's a dude. I don't know if it's a chick. I don't know if it's a dude. His name is Brett Cross. And if you are listening to my What If right now, I want to say I respect what you say, because I understand that you weren't trying to be rude at all. All right, well, let's get that right there. Let's get all that straight. Because I understand sometimes I explain a lot in my videos, because if I just, how do I say this? If I just said Deku's gonna have this and Deku's gonna have that, then some of you guys might say, well, how did he get this? How did he get that? That's why I like explaining as well. But it's harder for me to not explain, because it's kind of hard. I don't know why. I always grew up just doing this kind of stuff, explaining when I didn't even have to explain. But I'll try my best to do less explaining and more storytelling, because that's what you guys wanted. You guys want to hear a story. And even now, I'm 3 minutes in, so I'm already explaining. Oh, fudge. But yeah. So, how is this going to happen? You might say. How is Deku gonna, be with all three? Well, I found out how to do it. And Deku is technically the god of all quirks. Or not the god of all quirks. The one who possessed the first ever quirk that has anybody's quirk. And I was thinking, do I call it one for all for one? Or none for none? Or some for some? Then I thought, oh, he has all the quirks and he can use all of it. He can give any quirk. So then I just thought all for all. As weird as that sounds. Or I probably would just call it 4-4, all for one. Never mind, okay? So, how is this going to work? Well, David Shield is hosting a party for Deku. And these are people who David Shield has known for a long time, or who has helped him out with his career. And some are featured guests and some are pro heroes. He doesn't want the whole entire world to know about him being a caveman, but he wants them to know about this themselves. And he's going through the legal fees and the requirements to make sure that nobody actually tells, because even though he trusts them, it's he's making sure it's like that. It would probably be to him as how do I say it? As if he was working on a new project he doesn't want to know. But he's going to only tell a few. They would keep the secret, that's the kind of people they are. the ones he talks to. And All Might's gonna be there too, you know? Even Endeavor, although I don't think Endeavor would probably be there at all, you know, not one bit. So, who is going to be there? Well, it's Telly's family, which is one of the rich people, and Momo's family, the Yaoyorozus. So that's how they're gonna actually all meet. And David and like the two other men of the two other husbands, they talk. They've been friends before. The women, the wives, you know, they're all okay with each other. You know, they're not mean or anything. They're just, you know, they're just there smiling and doing all the stuff for their husbands. Which, I don't know if they're white or if I don't know if David Shield has a wife, but yeah, I don't think he does have one. So yeah, he's not gonna have. No, this is a what if. You know what? He has a wife, but she's in poor health because that's why she's not every time with David and Melissa and doing other stuff, because you know she's in poor health. Anyway, Deku and Melissa talk to freaking Momo, and Telly is there, and she's kind of like Monoma in a way. She has like kind of like that personality of like, I'm better than you, or if you think you're better than me. And Momo is wondering who's the new guy or the new kid, because she's never seen him before. She's only seen Melissa, and she knows who she is due to her fathers. So Momo talks to him, and some of you guys said that you wanted gorilla grunts. So I thought just doing like basic grunts like or something like that. I sound like I sound like an idiot. But anyway. Okay. So he doesn't grunt all the time. He more than likely just talks, but he's used to grunting due to his animal side, which Deku has a quirk that he unlocked a long time ago, which made him like have animal-like features or animal-like strength. Like he can become super fast from, let's say, saber-toothed tigers. He can become strong as a mammoth. He can be as ferocious as a bear, and he can lead much more better like a wolf. He can also see and fly like an owl. Not those small little cute ones. I'm talking about the ones that can actually like kill you if they actually, like, I don't know, they do something. I pretty much don't know. He's a better swimmer than a shark. Not a shark, than a crocodile. Basically saying all the stuff and names from the game. And he has a lot of resistance to poison if he's a badger or a honey badger. Now anyway, moving on. So Deku is looking at Momo, and he doesn't know that there is like many people like him, kids, because he was the only child, and not a lot of kids were around at the time. So seeing a lot of like people and kids, he's looking at this and kind of sad with the fact that his father's not there, even though he knows that his father is gone and his grandfather's gone, everybody's gone. So he thinks to himself, what is he to do? He knows that David treats him like a son, and Melissa's nice to him and all, but he wishes that they were just there. Deku's still a child, and David sometimes doesn't realize that. And even Melissa thinks this way too. She thinks that he treats him more like how do I say, like living proof that humanity was once something before, instead of treating him like a normal human being. It's hard for that, and it's hard for Deku to think that at times. And like I said, he has fire and ice and all the other quirks. He basically has any quirk, but he doesn't actually use all the quirks. I'm not going to give him like he's not going to use everybody's quirk because sometimes he just doesn't need to. He only uses what he has to. That's what makes Deku kind of strong. But anyway. Man. Okay, so Deku is right there talking with Momo and saying hi and how are you? And he knows that she's a girl because she's much more prettier than a boy and much more like feminine looking, or as feminine as a girl, as a little girl would be. I don't know. Let's say they're 7 years old. A year has passed, and he's kind of getting used to this, but it's not very freaking, not very like home. It's not like home to him, but it feels like home as well. So Telly is there as talking down to freaking Momo and Melissa, and these two are actually sad. And Deku is seeing that they're sad due to the fact that Telly's calling them stuff. Well, all them stuff, because he doesn't know what she's actually meaning by each and every word. But he knows little by little. It's kind of like she's mocking him or something. So Deku would do what any kid his age would do to a girl. And bonk her on the head. And Telly is thinking, ow, what the heck? She's kind of crying at this point because his freaking club, which isn't like something to kill, it's more like to just snap somebody's how somebody slaps somebody silly to make them like calm down. He kind of does that with a club, and it's not like bone or everything. It's like basically wood. So anyway, he bonks her on the head, and she's kind of crying. And she looks at him and says, "Why'd you do that?" And Deku isn't responding, but he's grunting. And Telly doesn't know what to do with this, but she's like thinking, wait, can he not talk? Is he able to talk, but he can't actually talk? Jeez, he hit me on the head with this thing. What is it? Wait a minute, is that wood? Who in their right mind brings a bat to the party? Which isn't a bat, it's a club. Big difference. So, Deku just grabs some, what's called, I don't know how to say, it's not like paper, but he just grabs some of his like animal hide and just wipes off Telly's face, which she's actually kind of like tiny bit thankful for, but she smells it and it smells like animals, which she doesn't know why it smells like animals. Like, she thinks this is like some animals from like a high-end like thrift store, or not thrift store, like, you know how people have like fur coats and all. She thinks that he probably ripped it up and probably fitted it on him, which he didn't. It's basically his old war attire, his basic like fighting clothes, which people thought probably he was a little cuckoo, but everybody how do I say? No, not that. David shows Deku to everybody, which there was a stage, and Deku was actually looking at all these people, and everybody looked different. They didn't look like his parents, and they didn't look like David or the others. He sees just different people with different hairstyles, hair colors, the way they looked, the way they dressed. Everything was mostly new. David didn't actually teach him about like a lot of people. All he just told him was a bit of table manners and freaking, how you say it, like common courtesies and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, Deku is still technically a caveman, so he's not gonna like pick this up right away. And David isn't going to get mad at him for this because, well, he can't. He's basically the first person to ever one of the first people to ever live. It's like You can't teach somebody what they already know, and you can't teach them that it's wrong, because what may be wrong to them isn't technically wrong to other people. So anyway, Telly and Momo see this, and they think, after looking at him closely in the spotlight, they like his hair. It's kind of leafy. Well, there's leaves on it. Different, like... And before you guys say anything, yes, his hair has different other types of flowers on it. So he kind of has like flowery hair, but he still has normal hair. It just grows out of him. And Telly sees this, and she's thinking about using that for tea. Probably there's different properties to it and all. And Momo sees it, and she thinks it's pretty because she likes the colors of the rainbow. So after, all the pleasantries, Deku goes back, and Melissa talks to him. And she talks to him, but Deku knows what she's kind of saying. It's basically like simple talking. It's a simpler way of talking, because she knows that Deku doesn't understand a lot. But that's when a lot of people see this one hero who, let's say that he was probably one of the top 10, or probably top 15, or no, he's around 20 right there, let's say that. And he comes by, and he wanted David to freaking help him with a project of his. And you guys said you wanted a tiger. Well, this is still a freaking, how do I say, a saber-tooth tiger, but it's much more different because it has a quirk. And I'm actually going to do this. These are one of the rarest types of saber-tooth tigers, which survived a very long time. One of the first actual animals to still be there during those billions of years ago. And if I said millions, I meant billions, alright? But anyway, Deku sees this, and he's speechless. He sees, let's say, how do I say it? Let's just say his hero name is Beast Tamer, which, wearing different animal hides or wearing different animal stuff, he can become that animal in a way. But because of his freaking annoyance, and due to the fact that he's sometimes like a jerk, basically like that dude from Shrek, who's like Prince Charming from Shrek. That's the vibes he gives off. He thinks he's so better and nonchalant, and he's top 20. He's not even top 10. So David doesn't know why he's here, but he knows that he told him that he was going to give him what's called a suit to help him with better adaptabilities to animals and all that good stuff. And he's also brought the saber-tooth tiger, which now in terms is now a saber-tooth lion, because it's now much more bigger. So it survived a lot more. And it has kind of like a mane. I'm not saying it's freaking Simba, but it kind of reminds you of Simba. He has red hair. Shiny red hair. So bright and so freaking puffy. But Deku sees this, and he's looking at it with fascination. He doesn't know why, but he knows it's a saber-tooth tiger, but it's much more different than one. And the man is right there, and he's pulling it because it's a cage. Because he's not gonna just freaking send out a freaking lion that's gonna eat up everybody. Come on now. He has let's just say he has tiny percent of common sense, you know? But anyway, David is telling him to leave because he's already hammered. Can't control his alcohol too much, even though it was just 1 pint. Yeah, freaking soft. You know what? Let's not curse. Anyway, David is trying to calm him down. And he is drunk already. And he says, "You promised me to get me a suit. And you probably think I'm not worthy of that. So, my men," of course it wasn't him that did it. My men brought this saber-toothed lion, rarest of its kind. And you know what? I'm going to, I'm going to show you all that I am deserving of number one hero." I'm sorry. The fact that Prince Charming becoming, number one hero, that's my bad. I'm sorry. That was kind of funny. I'm just forgetting it. Never mind. Anyway, so Deku sees this and he wants to come closer, and Melissa and Momo, even Telly, is pushing him back because he's trying to he's mesmerizing. They all notice this and are like, no, bad Deku. Well, what is he gonna call him? I forgot what he was gonna be named, but you know what? I'll think of a name. Let's just say bad Deku. Bad. Heel. Melissa's kind of treated him like a dog. Treated him like a pet right now. And Momo's like, oh, okay. Bad Deku. No. Can't do that. Just heel. Whatever Melissa says. And Telly's all like, bad ruffian. Bad. Sit down. You sit. No. Put that club down. No, I said put that club down, mister. And they're all just pushing him. But Deku is much more stronger for a kid. But they're all still keeping him at bay. And Deku sees that the lion tamer, or the freaking beast, what's his name? What did I say? Beast tamer? Whatever I just said, his name is Beast Tamer. It's basic name, alright? The Beast Tamer is whipping at him. And you hear the lion roaring with so much anger. And it's in pain. Because this is not like your regular whip. This is a much more deadlier whip. When you whip it at something, it can cut down. It can actually slash. And the lion has bruises on himself. Whip slashes and all that. So Deku actually sees this. And he's becoming a little more primal. His teeth kind of sharpen it. His teeth sharpen. His ears perk up a bit. His eyes are looking like a demon's, which is basically a Hellcat. Let's just say it looks like a saber-toothed lion's. Tiger. Tiger. What the guy's attacking right now is a lion. It's basically a much more advanced version of the saber-toothed tiger. All right, good. His eyes are becoming much more feral. Teeth sharper. His ears becoming a little more pointy, and becoming much more, it's kind of more detailed. His muscles and the hairs around him are a little more darker and kind of tougher. It feels stronger. I don't know how to explain this. Deku is looking and just walking little by little, even though they're trying to pull him as much as they can. And the drunk dude stops because he hears Deku growling. And the other three don't know what to do. And freaking Momo is grabbing a rope. And she's trying to now pull him. All three of them are pulling him. And how you say it? All the audience members aren't doing nothing because, it's a drunk dude. They're all trying to say, no, calm down. This is a He's technically a primate. He's, you know, they explain to him about him being a caveman and him saying, "Caveman, this kid is just a feral beast. And all beasts must be tamed." He grabs his whip. He's about to hit until Momo and Telly are right there. Melissa's kind of scared. She's right there too. But they're all scared. This is nothing that they thought of, like, you know, how do you say it? All three of them are like in there, but since Melissa doesn't have a quirk, she's kind of scared because, yeah, she doesn't have a quirk. There's something there, and don't worry, she's gonna have a quirk soon. Trust me on this. So, Deku is right there, and all three of them are trying to like bridge between Deku and freaking what's his name, Beast Tamer, and the Beast Tamer is telling the kids to move away. And he's about to just like hit all of them. And he's going for the kill. Until Deku stands right in front of the whip. And he actually gets hit. A big scar or a big slash coming through his chest and all the way down to his belly button. And it looks kind of gruesome. And all the people are now scared. Because even though some of them are heroes, they don't know what to do. It's kind of like when you know something is bad, but you don't know whether to fight or not. Even though it's something as hitting a child. Not even their child. Not even with a belt. It's with a whip. A metal whip. And Deku sees just blood on himself. And what he does is something nobody thought he could do. David thought that he could actually use fire and ice. No. He grabs his freaking hands and starts to cover it with green leaves. And he's licking some of the blood off of his freaking lips. And he's also consuming some of his blood. That's because, and I technically, you know what, I'm going to save that for later. He technically licks his blood, but it's not regular blood. It's much more shinier, much more bluer, much more crystallized. And this is known as the blood of Oros. Which, yes, I understand. If you guys played the game, freaking, oh, that's not how it works, and that's not what it looks like, and all that stuff. You know what? Yeah, you're right. This is a what if. Shut it. Alright? Alright, we're good here now. We're good here, people. So anyway, Deku licks off his blood. And his stomach starts to grumble a bit. But he feels much more energy. And all of them saw him grabbing leaves off of his head and putting it on him. Well, mostly consuming it. But he's using the blood as somewhat as a freaking source of protein. And he's eating it. And Melissa is fascinated. She's thinking to herself, what does this all mean? She doesn't know that what's called what Deku's quirk is, and she doesn't know why he's doing it. Maybe it's a ritual, maybe it's a sign of combat, maybe it's a test. But all she knows is that he just ate some of the leaves and used his blood. And his wounds are healing, but they're not like completely gone. He has a scar now. At the young age of 6. And not only that, Deku is crying in rage. He roars. And this is not your freaking freaking lion roar. This roar is a saber-toothed tiger's roar, which echoes, and I mean echoes, through the room. And this is kind of like a big room. So the fact people can feel it up to their like legs, freaking the vibrations, it's kind of scary. And even the freaking man right there is seeing like what's happening. And Deku is right there. And I understand, yeah, why isn't the heroes doing anything? Yeah, because like I said before, they don't know what to do. It's kind of like a thing that they just sometimes don't know. Yeah, you can't expect them to do everything all at once. They're still humans. But anyway, Deku runs towards him. The Beast Tamer has his whip yet again. And the girls grab him. Which I understand why are they doing that, but it's still like... It's still them doing it because to help Deku. It's a new friend. Yeah, pretty much it. And Telly's technically biting him just like a rabid dog. And the Lion Tamer feels this and he's about to hit her. But Deku is already there. And he's unlocked the speed of a leopard. And if I didn't say that, then yeah, there's different animals and it's kind of hard to explain. Anyway, he runs fast and he catches up to his arm and he pulls it down and he ices it up. Not his arm, but the freaking whip. So the moment the guy is about to like try to whip, it doesn't do anything. That's because it's broken. Deku can actually use ice up to even below 0 degrees. Because since he's been iced up for so long, he now he feels the you know how ice truly is. So cold that it can stop something from moving. And that's what he's thinking. He's not thinking any sciencey stuff. He's only using his mind and his primal rage. And his senses as well. Which his senses are already hiding. And he runs up to his freaking arm and he bites the heck out of it. Not ripping out a chunk, but like, this dude needs to have surgery on his arm. And the man is screaming. And all the heroes are deciding to help. And he grabs a freaking club, which Telly sees, and it's not freaking wood. Oh, no, there's bone right there. There's bone, and there's rock. There's these little spiky parts on the bottom of it. And he swings it at his head. This man goes night-night. He doesn't die. He doesn't die, believe me. He doesn't die. Let's say he's going to have a coma. And David was not there at the time. Technically, he wasn't there. He was somewhere else. But, you know, action movies, the police come in the end. Well, David Shield comes in the end. And he sees what happens. And the man is right there, like, still, like, barely, like, speaking. And he's trying to say, look what your kid did to me. Look at your kid. He's a monster. What? Why did you? Why? Oh, man. I can't see. And he's, passing out. He's like, help me, David. Help me. Well, he doesn't say David. He said, help me, Mr. Shield. And he sees him run past him. And he runs towards Deku. Because he's really mad right now. And he also sees Melissa. And he grabs the both of them. And he hugs them. And he's crying. Tears in his eyes. Because he was over there helping out his mother. Or helping out Melissa's mom. His wife. He was helping out his wife. And yeah, it was kind of hard for her to like sleep and all that. So he was there for a while. And he didn't want to lose somebody, or he wanted to make sure that they were okay. Which, technically, Melissa's mom doesn't have a quirk at all. That's what makes her sick. She doesn't have the double joint, or whatever requirements you need to have for a quirk. She has the requirements to have a quirk, but she doesn't have one. Let's say that All For One took it. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. All For One took it. And he was scared because Melissa doesn't have a quirk. and they made her. And what if she had a quirk? And that's what he's thinking as well. That's why he's scared of losing Melissa, or that's one of the reasons why he keeps her around him, because he doesn't want her to he doesn't want to lose her, because the mom is slowly dying. And that's why he's holding them tightly. And Deku is somebody who saved Melissa. He thinks of him as family. Now he realizes what he has done. He didn't treat him as a son, or he even treat him humanly. He treated him like a trophy. And he's crying. And all the heroes now know what they're supposed to do. Even though they're kind of like jerks, and they weren't like on the top tier. They were like basically the beast tamer dude. He's right there up on, like, he's like 20 to 30. The heroes were mostly like 20 to 10. So yeah. Deku's Shield says thank you for all this. He wouldn't have known what to do, because after seeing the footage, he knew that if Melissa was hurt, yeah, he would probably been so depressed he wouldn't have done anything. But Deku took the blow for him. And all three of the girls realized that even though they were scared and they were protecting him, even though that whip was so strong that it could actually cut them up, they were amazed and scared, and they felt happy. Or not happy, but they knew that Deku was going to protect them, and that's what made them, like, freaking, how do I say it? It made them, like, realize how happy they felt knowing that Deku was the one to protect them. I don't know how to explain this, but they fall for Deku, all three of them. And it's kind of hard for them to, like, say it around him, but we're going too far into detail. So Deku is actually taught a lot more by Shield. If you guys are wondering about the lion, saber-toothed lion, before all that happened, Deku tells David, sir, or wait, or how do I say? He's going to say, move. And Shield was kind of shocked due to the fact that he just said it. And Deku walks to the lion, and he opens up the cage, and Deku creates a piece of meat that he knows, at least, made from elk, because he carries around like meat around him. Carries meat around him because there's like little cats right there. There's cats around around the place, because Melissa likes cats, and it's technically they're relatives of freaking lions and tigers. Deku likes cats, and he thinks they're kind of okay. But anyway, Deku sees the lion. The lion sees it. He grabs a piece of meat, and the lion's growling at everybody. The heroes don't know what to do, but David said to wait. Let him do what he has to do. Like I said, he was a caveman, so I think he knows how to handle something like this. And David's surprised himself because he doesn't know what's happening, and he's scared because Melissa's right there, he's right there. A lot of people could get injured, and he's counting on Deku not to, like, fail him. He's praying, like he's freaking, like, praying to any high being around him. And Deku is right there. The lion's right there. And he is technically a beast master. And he throws the piece of meat up into the air, and it lands near the lion. And the lion doesn't know what it is until he smells it. He licks it. Afterwards, knowing the fact that it likes what it tastes. he eats it. And Deku's coming closer. And everybody's like praying that this kid doesn't get mauled to death by something so, by a beast that's, 100 times heavier than him. And the lion's hissing and hissing and hissing until it stops and smells his hand, and it immediately knows what Deku is. He knows it's a true Beastmaster, which, if the Beast Tamer had it as a quirk, he never actually had it as his blood. What I'm trying to say is the fact that all the people with quirks, they never actually treated it as a part of their being. They mostly treated it as just a tool. But Deku has treated it as if it was another extension of himself. Not treating it as a tool that he can just use for every day. So he knows that it's a Beastmaster. And it's a true Beastmaster because it was one of the first generations of Beastmaster that can actually stay calm around it. He can listen to it. To the lion, Deku is like the highest one in the food chain. He can order any animal at will if he tames it, but not by physical harm. Well, some needs to go through physical harm, but others can just be swayed easily. And Deku knows this as well. He knows this because his grandfather taught him. Tekkar, the one in the picture. So the lion smells his hand. He realizes it. And he jumps on Deku. Which everybody's scared. And all the heroes are about to run at it. And David just... David just runs in front of Deku, and between Deku, the lion, and the heroes. And the heroes are like, what are you doing? Are you insane? This kid is getting killed. And David's like, look closely. And all of them are thinking, oh man, okay. So they see Deku and the lion playing around. The lion's licking him and holding him. And Deku is right there, holding him. And getting up again. And Deku cries. For his first time, he cries in a long time, which was a year ago. He hasn't cried since, due to the fact that he was the only one there. The only time he cried was technically as a baby, as a child, from injuries, and from the fact that they were all dead. But he's crying now because he sees an animal that is like Deku in a way. One of the people that has been gone for a long time, because these things are considered ultimately rare to see, especially one that's peaked its evolution. The fact that the Beast Tamer found it was technically priceless. But they do live close up to the freaking place where it's super cold, which that's what mountain with saber-toothed lions like. And I know I said tiger. I didn't mean tigers, but they're evolved. And since Deku is the one true tamer, they allow him to tame them and to control them. And Deku is crying because it's kind of reminding him of the things that he once had that he doesn't have anymore. And David sees that. In a way, he sees that it's a saber-toothed lion, and saber-toothed tigers were back then. And he's kind of thinking that probably he had one as a pet, or probably didn't, or somebody did. But he's crying due to the fact that it's something that reminds him of home. And Deku says, him keep. And David knows what he's saying, and he's not saying no to this. Even though he's kind of nervous, he knows that Deku can actually tame it. There's no way that the lion can actually disobey him anymore. Which Deku gets on top of him, and the lion's walking, and everybody's amazed. Nobody knows why, but this kid tamed him without even freaking hitting him or whipping him. And the Beastmaster is technically going to the hospital and taken to jail. And even if the Beast Tamer did find him, it technically wasn't his to begin with. He just found it, or his cronies found it, or whatever. So, Deku is there with the lion, and everybody is looking at the lion and seeing how beautifully it looks. So majestic, but yet so primal. And so is Deku. He's majestic in his own way, and primal. That's what Momo sees in him. He's like a prince, but he's also the king of beasts. Telly sees him as somebody kind, but yet harsh when needed to be. Because he could have hit her with the bone one, but he didn't. He was kind enough to actually hit him with something else. With something much more less lethal. Extremely less lethal. This is just wood. And Melissa sees him as kind to something that could kill him. And he sees the fascination that Deku is. He only saw him as somebody who is just most of the times a wild child. But he saw the kindness. And he saw him take charge, and she saw him take charge. She didn't see that in a lot of kids. They just all did whatever they wanted to do. They bullied the weak. But Deku controlled the strong. And he was kind to the weak. And Deku was going to protect all of them. Even if it meant actually dying. And all of them see it. His scar. And they all knew that scar meant that it hurt a lot, because it's a deep wound, or it's a scar that is so noticeable. And they all noticed that if that was them, then they would have all actually gone to the hospital, because that could technically like paralyze a child's emotions and destroy their ability to feel. Which, if you go through extreme pain, sometimes you are now not able to feel pain anymore due to the fact that being so high, or that pain being so unbearable that it's normal. It's kind of like a new normal to you. So anyway, Deku is there, and he names the lion Tekkar, which kind of reminds him of him, due to the fact that he has hair around him, when he's like a lion. And he was the king of all beasts. Well, technically, at a physical sense, Deku is. But the lion now, Tekkar, is kind of like the embodiment of the strength of lions. Or maybe now saber-tooth tigers. He sees all this, and he names him Tekkar, which he grabs a freaking sharp object out of his freaking side, and all of them see this, and he grabs the knife, and he makes a mark on the freaking lion, which the lion doesn't actually feel, because this isn't just freaking metal and it's cutting through his skin. No, the blade that he has is the blood of Oros, and he's also using the green freaking plant to heal him, and also the red plant to make sure that he doesn't go through extreme pains. And he knows that freaking Deku's cutting him, but he knows that it doesn't feel like anything, so he's letting this happen. So he feels immediate pain, but he also feels immediate satisfaction and healing, which the lion knows as well, as it just healing him. And I understand if this doesn't make sense to you guys, but it's just, it's just somewhat lore-based mixed in with my imagination. So, everybody knows this, and after that, a day has passed, and Tekkar is technically right there with him at all times. Most of the times that Deku just sends him off But Tekkar is now, since he's a part of the lion, like a part of his technically group, he doesn't attack the people. Even though they feel nervous, they know that Deku wouldn't do that to them. So that's what makes people think Tekkar is actually a good like animal. Even when sometimes they hit Tekkar accidentally, like something falls on his head, the lion just picks it up for them with his teeth. And at first they all get scared, but they know now that Tekkar is actually a good lion. And Deku is kind, and he wouldn't do anything to it, or to him. And over the years, Momo, Telly, and Melissa, they've talked a bit. And they all thought, why not marry him? Which I understand you guys, oh, why marry him? What the heck? But, listen to this. They all thought Deku was honorable. They all thought Deku was so kind. Even though he was wild, he knew that he was also, they also knew he was fair. And they all knew that he would have risked his life to just save any of them. And yeah, Deku did that. Tekkar taught him, not the lion, the dude right here. Tekkar taught him at a young age what it means to technically be a man. To be somebody who's kind, who is gentle, and who protects the weak, and fights the strong when needed to be. Not to fight the strong to make sure he's the best of the best. He only fights the strong to protect and to heal. He teaches them all this because he knows that one day he's not going to be there. And since Deku technically has powers that Tekkar doesn't know, which to be a quirk, which really isn't a quirk anymore. This is like a blessing in disguise. And Deku's gonna have kids, all right. So you know they have, all of them have the same quirk, all right. They'll have all the same quirk. If I had to explain it, yeah, they'll have the same quirk. But here's the catch: their quirk is technically 50 times stronger. So Momo's creation quirk won't need any lipids. It's just like Deku's. So basically any one of their quirks, and Melissa doesn't have a quirk yet. Well, that's because Deku is actually going to give her a quirk. And he thought of it. He kept thinking to himself, what kind of quirk would he, hold on. Alright, I'm back, guys. I forgot what I was going to say, but yeah, he's going to give Melissa a quirk, as far as I know. And the three girls all tell their parents that they want to marry Deku. Now, some of you guys might think, yeah, there's no way they're going to allow this. This is a what if after all. But here's the thing. They all saw the courage and sacrifice that Deku was going to make. And that Deku did make. Not only that, Mr. Shield said that his quirk is still unknown, which they think is probably strong. Even though he might be the first ever generation, they know that different quirks have different abilities. You could still be first generation and have a Spitfire quirk, which is still kind of cool. So freaking David is actually okay with this, because not only that, he lives with him. So the bond between them is going to grow. And so will the bond with Melissa and him. And they actually all live in a different part of they all actually live in Japan. And here's why. All three of them gather up for a meeting. And they technically did want Deku to be freaking okay with this. But he knows that the three girls were actually cute. They were nice, except for Telly. But he knew that she can change. Deku just knows these kinds of things because of his because he's technically pure. In a way, he's technically the purest person that they know. So all of them decide, why not just let Deku, if he wants all three of them, to marry all three of them? Because I think somewhere in Tokyo or Japan, I forgot, you could probably marry up to 3 people. I don't know about like 6 or 7. That's I don't know. But this is the king of the jungle, the king of all beasts, the first man, or the last man who walked the earth first, before anything. So, with that title, he's going to have women to make little Dekus, mini Dekus, but they're thinking, wait until they have a hero license and they started their career and are still going at it, because they also know that their daughters, all of them, want to be heroes. Even Melissa, even though she doesn't have a quirk, which, like I said, he's going to just give her a quirk that she could use. And Deku knows about quirks and how they work, and Deku knows how the ritual works in giving away abilities, due to the shaman of the wolf shaman from Far Cry Primal, which was in the territory of Wenja, which he also knew, and he learned about properties and what to do. And you had to use plants, some of your blood, and the other person's blood, and let them consume it, which Deku already knows what to do. He just doesn't know what to give Melissa, which I don't know if I should give probably the other girls to another quirk as well, which all 3 of them in total will have 6 3 of them in total will have 6 quirks, so basically 2 each. And I'm thinking about doing that. I don't know about freaking giving it to other people, but we don't know for sure. Because in this what if, I'm thinking about doing that. Not just giving it like all away like free candy. This is Halloween. It's like, oh, we don't have any free candy. You know what? Deku, give him a quirk. So anyway, David thinks, well, yeah, this is going to happen. Everybody wants a piece of the wild child. No, that doesn't sound right. Everybody wants to marry the wild child. So they go to Japan. And they're 8. Deku is 8 now by the time. And he's learned so much due to the fact that he knows Telly's quirk. Which, if none of you guys know, Telly's quirk is when she drinks tea, different types of teas. She'll be better in different categories. Like, let's say, jasmine tea will help with math, and like Earl Grey is science. And green tea is basic reading. Like different teas. But Deku's is different. He can technically just grab one of his freaking leaves and you attach it to either, or stick it to his blood, or a piece of meat, which is technically any kind of animal. And just eat it, consume it, and he'll become smarter. Or be smarter for technically forever, because like I said, his is so powerful that any quirk that you might say, his is better at. All for one, one for all for all. You can't even be all for all. This is all for all, not one for all, and not all for one. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, and that's what I'm meaning. All right. Let's say Kirishima's quirk. His is going to be a much more stronger material, like crystal or something, because it's still a rock. Or diamond. He can technically become diamond. Explosion quirks? Well, technically he can just make explosions and even blast it without having to use his 2 hands. Uraraka's quirk? Make things heavier. Make things lighter. He won't even have to be sick. He's free from technically any of the like pains and pressures or anything like that from the withdrawals from the drawbacks of having a quirk. That's technically his thing. His quirk is a powerful quirk. It's the all for all. It's anything that he wants and even more, which nobody knows yet. But All Might and All for One do sense this tingling inside of them, like a quirk that is much more power. It stands out, and they know that somebody has a quirk that rivals One for All or All for One. They don't know who yet, so they just leave it for the time being. Nobody else knows about the freaking Deku being a caveman. He won't tell anybody that, even though technically he wants to, because this is Deku, and Deku's a caveman. He doesn't. To him, this is his pride. He's prideful of the fact that he's a Wenja, or one of the last cavemen. And to tell him not to tell anybody about who you really are is basically like. It's basically, I don't know how to say it. It's basically when somebody has a quirk, but your parents don't want you to tell them what quirk it is. Or if you have a car, nobody wants to tell you what quirk it is. Because David is scared of the fact that potential people might want to marry him. And David doesn't want that to happen. Because this could probably go through Deku's head. He doesn't want something as... He doesn't want his son or his probably son-in-law to be lustful to a lot of women. He wants him to be faithful to 3 people, at least 3 people. Doesn't want to have a buffet out here. Which I thought giving him a freaking harem, but I was like, no. I did think that he would be friends with people in school, and now we cut off. So, tell me what you think and if you liked it or not. If you're gonna be a jerk about it and tell me, oh, it sucks, or I don't know why you're doing this, then just, just F off, alright? I don't actually know the kindest way to say it. But if you guys actually do, have criticism for me and you're actually being nice about it, and I'm actually saying nice about it, don't freaking, not to be rude, but for Brett Cross, you know what? I respect you for that. Respect you because you didn't try to be rude. But if you said not to be rude, but, you're lame, something like that, then yeah, you're a jerk. But if you're telling me what the problem is, yeah, I respect you for that. So you know what? Like, comment, and subscribe. And please do subscribe to the channel. I still want to make it to 500. At least 500, die and say, you know what? I got that 500, my friend. Yeah, none of you crap. Anyway, bye.